Hey there, Paul Wagler here for Rise Now and the 2-minute wake-up call. Well, I have in my hands here an inner tube from my road bike, and this inner tube has a story to tell. Well, actually, I have the story to tell about this inner tube. And the story happened a couple weeks ago on a morning when I was going to head out to drive the milk truck, something that I do occasionally. And it's about a 25-kilometer bike ride to where the milk truck is parked. And it's, as long as the weather's good, I love to ride my bike there because I just love to ride my bike as much as I can. And so I got up that morning and I was looking at the weather app on my phone and checking the radar, and I'm always looking at it optimistically. And it seemed like, well, there's a few rain clouds, but I think it's gonna be okay, and I'm gonna get out there and stay dry. And so Angie, in the meantime, had woken up as well, and she was checking her phone. Well, she doesn't look at it as optimistically as I do. Maybe more realistically, I guess, would be one way to put it. And she was saying, I think you're going to get wet. I think you should drive. And I'm like, no, don't take away my fun. I'm going to be all right. And so I headed off against my wife's better judgment. And I was only about 4 houses up the road early that morning. It was about 5:30 in the morning. And I heard this crunching sound under my tires. And I was like, oh, that doesn't sound good. And I knew that I had gone over some broken glass. So I stopped and I was making sure there was no glass stuck in the rubber of my tire. And then I carried on. Well, about a kilometer further up the road, my rear tire went flat. This inner tube had a hole in it. And in that moment, I decided, you know what, I'm not going to fix it. I carry a spare tube and a pump, but I just I'm this close to home, I'm just going to ride back home. And it is cold and windy, and it just doesn't feel that great out here today. And so I rode home kind of smiling, even chuckling a bit to myself about how my plans had changed. And then when I got home, I changed, got in the car and drove out to drive the milk truck, and it was raining the whole way. And was I ever glad that this inner tube had gotten a hole and that my plans had changed. And it reminded me of some other times in my life where I was hoping something would happen, even started moving in a certain direction, and then the plans changed and I was redirected. And there's this verse from Proverbs chapter 16, verse 9, which talks about how we make our plans, but it is the Lord that directs and establishes our steps. And so maybe as I'm sharing this, you can think of a time in your life where you were hoping and starting to move in a certain direction, but something happened and there was an intervention, there was a redirection where you were put on a different course, and it was for the best, even maybe initially, though it is disappointing. But then later we realize, wow, God was redirecting us in a way that was better. And so if that is the case, I just encourage you to just leave a yes in the comments below to know that you can identify with this, and maybe even tell us what the story was about how your plans were redirected and how the Lord established your steps in a different way than what you had originally hoped. And then in the midst of this, as we realize how God is intricately involved in all these little details of our lives, let's give thanks to Him for these redirections, because He knows best. And I am so glad that He intervenes at times and keeps me from doing things that are not going to be in my best interest. So let's give thanks to the Lord today for His love and His care for us. And until we meet again, stay awake and stay alert.